Which Super Mario 64 DS worlds can you beat in reverse star order, beginning with the last star and ending with the first? Earlier this year, I did this challenge with Super Mario 64 and discovered that you can grab up to 78 stars by going through each level backwards, and as long as you're okay with doing some difficult speedrunning strats, you can even beat the game while doing so. Now let's do the same for Super Mario 64 DS. It's got the same worlds but more stars to get, reordered missions, and alterations that make things harder or easier. And the physics are entirely different, meaning that the speedrunning tricks I did last time won't work here. Just as before, from a fresh file, I jumped into each world and got as many stars as I could in reverse, i.e. starting with the 100 coin star as star number 8 and working backwards to end with star number 1 to answer 2 questions. Which painting worlds can you grab every star in reverse, and can you reach the end of the game in the process? The rules are the same. I always chose the first star when entering a level because I want to do this as naturally as possible without taking advantage of any items that spawn in when you select a later star. I can leave and come back to a world so long as I continue in reverse when I return. And I avoided grabbing any secret stars unless it was necessary, and this time, that's gonna matter. We begin with Yoshi outside the castle, and after munching on the rabbit, I went inside. Bob-omb Battlefield is up first, and we have the same problem. The 100 coin star requires you to grab the coins in the air above the floating island. Getting to the island is possible without a cannon as Yoshi with a charged run and flutter jump from this spot to barely reach the corner. The cannon would be easier, but the door is shut, so we can't use that, right? Well, there's a glitch we can use called pause clipping. When you pause, depending on the level, the camera will fly out to show you your surroundings. When this happens, some objects are unloaded, including certain cannon doors. You can take advantage of that by ground pounding, pausing at the right time, then unpausing to go past the unloaded doors and use the cannon. This doesn't work on every cannon, but I can use it here to both launch myself to the island and then use this cannon to hit the rings. That opens up more coins for this star, but it will require multiple shots unless you get the perfect angle. Anyway, with this trick, the 100 coin star is no problem, as is the next star behind Chain Chomp's gate, which you get as normal. Finding the 8 red coins is simple enough with our ways onto the island, and then we have Mario Winks to the Sky. Last time, I wasn't able to get this with the wing cap alone, even though it is possible with precise inputs. It didn't matter much back then, but minor spoiler, for DS, I needed this star now. And I have the opposite problem, cannons but no wing cap and Yoshi's limited acrobatics to contend with. Good news is, this is possible with just the cannons. Bad news is it requires multiple shots, some of which are blind. It's annoying, but doable, and that's the star collected. However, I can't grab the next star, Big Bob-omb's Revenge, because while he is up there if you select star 1, that loads the first Big Bob-omb fight, so we'd grab the wrong star. Makes sense, you can't get revenge if the other party hasn't done anything yet. So that's all we can do on the battlefield. On to Whomp's Fortress, where collecting 100 coins is a breeze. I managed to do it by just sweeping out the ground floor. As for Switch Star of the Fortress, we need to bust this brick to access it, but Yoshi isn't strong enough. Thankfully, the Mario cap always spawns in this level, so by getting that, I hit the switch and grab the star. We can't use Cannonless to get Blast Away the Wall, but we can pause clip into this cannon and blast open the wall to get the star as intended. I also can't use the owl since he won't load on the first star, but with the Mario cap again, I jumped up to the floating islands with a cool triple jump off the thwomp, and then did another triple jump and dive to reach star number 5. Risky, but fall onto the caged island is ours this way. Then I got red coins on the floating isle and shoot into the wild blue with the aid of the cannon yet again. Just like last time, I can't grab to the top of the fortress because I haven't beaten King Whomp yet, so we gotta move on. The 100 coin star in Jolly Roger Bay is normally easier on the DS version with some added blue coins, but getting all of them requires Luigi, and I don't have access to him yet. It's still possible with Yoshi if you get enough blue coins, although it's tight. That's the only star I can get though, because Through the Jet Stream still doesn't spawn because the sunken ship is in the way and I can't raise it. I've got 11 stars now, one less than we need to go past the first star door. Cool Cool Mountain thankfully has tons of coins, so the 100 coin star is easy to get. You can't get the Switch Star of Cool Cool Mountain without Wario though, but with 12 stars in my collection, we can move on for now. I went ahead and beat Goomboss, unlocked Mario, headed into Bowser in the Dark World, and got the key to the basement. I don't have enough stars for Big Boo's Haunt yet, so let's go down to Hazy Maze Cave. On the N64 version, this was the first level where you can grab all the stars in reverse, and that holds true on the DS. 100 coins isn't a problem, and the Wario cap always spawns on Dory's head, so after getting that, I broke the black brick to hit the switch and get the underground switch star. Grabbing Wario's cap is inconvenient, but to get Watch for Rolling Rocks, Wario needs to bash all the boulders, and that's star 6 collected. The 2 maze stars are always spawned in, so Amazing Emergency Exit and Navigating the Toxic Maze are easy as pie. After making a pit stop to hit the question mark block switch, I went back to the caves and used Metal Wario to pick up Metalhead Wario Can Move, then onto Elevate for 8 red coins, and then don Wario's headpiece one more time to grab Swimming Beast in the Cavern and clean out Hazy Maze Cave. Just a bit more work with how many times I entered the flooded basement, but whatever. Lethal Lava Land doesn't fare so well. It has tons of coins, so the 100 coin star is all well and good, but star 7 is flaming silver stars, and these missions are impossible. Why? Because in order for the silver stars to spawn, you have to select the respective star when you enter. And since I can't do that with this challenge, Lethal Lava Land only nets me 1 star. I could grab all of them in the original, so that outcome makes me sad. Shifting Sand Land has a similar fate. I can grab 100 coins once I enter the pyramid, and with the wing cap now available, I can get all the red coins to collect free flying for 8 red coins. But for Pyramid Puzzle, rather than hitting invisible triggers, the mission now uses silver stars, which again, can't spawn. At this point, I have just 23 stars in my collection, 7 shy of what I need to get past the 30-star door. The only hope I have is Big Boo's Haunt, which is available now, but I need to get 7 stars here. As you'd expect, collecting 100 coins is simple, but the next mission is Switch Star in the Basement, which also requires Wario to break a black brick, and I don't think his cap spawns in here unless you've already unlocked him, so this is a dead end for now. I can at least unlock Luigi, so I did just that. With 24 stars, I need a way to get past the 30-star door, and I could just grab a couple of secret stars, but I know another way. If you remember in the last video, that run required side backwards long jump, aka the trick that makes 0-star and 1-star runs possible if you're planning to reach the end on a reverse star order run. That's not available here, but there's an easier glitch called Rabbit Clip. Once you talk to Toad in the rec room, rabbits will spawn around the castle. If you grab one in the right spot, you can use them to clip inside walls. Once this one in the basement is in position, if you tilt the camera at the right angle, dash between the rabbit and the wall, then press A to talk to the rabbit while holding right on the D-pad, your character will shift past the wall out of bounds. When you leave the dialogue, you'll start falling, so you have to move back toward the level and catch the water collision to start swimming. From here, you just swim past the Dire Dire Docks entrance, then jump up into Bowser in the Fire Sea. It took me some tries, but eventually I made it through and tackled Bowser again. And I did this before entering World 9 because I already know that it's going to be a lost cause. Dire Dire Docks only lets you grab 1 star in reverse since there are 100 coins, but the Manta Ray never spawns in unless you select its mission, so I can't get the Manta Ray's reward. Because I can't clear Board Bowser sub, and thus Bowser in the Fire Sea never properly opens, I would need to clip past Dire Dire Docks even if I had the right amount of stars. I'm just grateful that Rabbit Clip is easy with enough patience, at least in this instance. Anyway, I can now access the second floor, and the first thing I wanted to do was unlock Wario, so I did. Now let's clean up some worlds. Wario's big old butt can break the ice to grab Switch Star of Cool Cool Mountain, and then I headed to the secret area to get Mario's super wall kick. But the snowman body won't spawn in unless you've beaten the first few missions, so that's where this level ends. Big Boo's Haunt is ripe for the plundering now, as Wario can destroy the black brick and grab Switch Star in the basement. Then with Luigi, I went eye to eye in the secret room, fought Big Boo on top of Big Boo's balcony, wandered around to seek the 8 red coins, and traversed the library to grab Secret of the Haunted Books. However, like before, the Boos won't spawn in the merry-go-round, so we can't get the star there. Now it's time for the second floor. That starts with Snowman's Land, and getting 100 coins is easy once you scour the outside and then head into the igloo. And conveniently, that's where red coins in the house is found, making for an easy grab. Then back into the igloo once again to get, into the igloo. But star number 5 is another silver star mission, so this level is dead. At least the igloo is all clear. As for Wet Dry World, this is another instance where I can only get the 100 coin star, and that's not too hard with all these boxes around. You guessed it, it's the silver stars again. I get that these were an easy new objective for each stage, but this one and the one in Lethal Lava Land cut off 12 other stars from me, which is frustrating. Tall Tall Mountain, at least, doesn't have any surprises. The 100 coin star doesn't require the secret slide if you opt to fly around to get these rings. A little slow, but I got it eventually. Then with Wario, I caught the breathtaking view from the bridge, went back to Mario to fly through the coin rings again for 5 secrets of the mountain, used the cannon to blast to the Lonely Mushroom, slid down the mysterious mountainside, and climbed up the cliffs for Scary Shroom's red coins. But once again, that monkey and his mysterious cage don't spawn unless you pick his mission, and I can't do that. After a bad run of levels though, getting 6 stars in one pass is frankly pretty nice. Tiny Huge Island is up next, and 100 coins, blah blah blah, you get it. Switch Star on the island is no problem, I just had to get inside Wiggler's cave. Then I fought Wiggler himself to make Wiggler squirm, and then back into the cave to grab all of Wiggler's red coins. However, while Klepto the Condor is flying around here, he doesn't have his star unless you select his mission, so we're out. If you're keeping count, I've only got 46 stars, not enough to reach the 3rd floor. There is another rabbit up here that you can use to clip past the 50-star door by jumping onto the floor inside the pillar and then into the 3rd floor proper. I could not get this to work though. I managed to partially clip in once or twice, but never enough to start falling. I was just pushed back in bounds. So in my impatience, I decided to just pick up some secret stars instead. Specifically the red coins in the aquarium, the red coins in the wing cap stage, and then the 2 stars in the princess's secret slide. But in the spirit of this challenge, I did grab the 21-second star first and then the normal one. Let's head into Tick-Tock Clock now. There are a decent amount of coins, so getting 100 is simple, but wouldn't you know it, star number 7 is a silver star mission, so can't do that. I guess I'm grateful that I don't have to play more Tick-Tock Clock, but it's still disappointing. Rainbow Ride is last on the docket, and with several coins around the lower levels, I grabbed the 100 coin star and then headed up to get the Switch Star of the Manor. I forgot to talk to the Pink Bob-omb to open the cannon, but thankfully, pause clipping works up on the ship, so I can blast off to somewhere over the rainbow. Down below, I collected tricky triangles and then swinging in the breeze, and jumped through the maze to grab coins amassed in a maze. Then it was just 2 more trips on magic carpets to grab the big house in the sky, and finally Cruiser crossing the rainbow, and that's every star in Rainbow Ride collected. With that done, you'll either have 55 or 59 stars depending on whether you can clip past the 50-star door, neither of which are enough to make it past the endless staircase. But I really wanted to take down Bowser, so I employed another glitch. If you dash, then slide kick into this corner with the right timing, Mario will clip out of bounds and be warped all the way to the top of the map, then fall until you hit a floor or a death trigger. If you position yourself right, you can land at the top of the staircase and head into Bowser in the sky. Slide kicking at the wrong time means you either won't clip or will, but then immediately die and get sent out of the castle. Somehow I did this on my 4th try and first successful clip. I guess that's redemption for failing to glitch past the 50-star door. Not that that's the point of all this, but whatever, Bowser is defeated forever, and that ends the challenge. In total, you can beat 2 worlds completely in reverse in Super Mario 64 DS, 5 less than the original. The Silver Star missions and reordered stars hit me hard, especially in the basement, and it sucks that they're so late in the levels, which means that they're early in my checklist for a reverse star order challenge. This game has 5 levels where you can only grab the 100 coin star, compared to just the 1 in the N64 game. Once again, this wasn't the best way to play, but it was nice to come back to this version. It had been a while, and I didn't really like it the last time I did a playthrough. I still kinda don't, which is why I held off on doing this video for a bit, but it wasn't as bad as I remember. Anyway, if you like this video and want to see more, well, hit that like button and click on that big word that says subscribe. I'm sure you know that by now. If you missed me tackling this challenge on the N64 version, check that out as well. I'm GrayJ, and I'll see you some other time with more silly things.